What's up everybody, welcome back to Tailgate Masters. This is the part 2 of the pop lock install. This is going to be the wiring portion. First we're going to remove this door sill trim piece on the passenger side. It just pops off. And then we're also going to remove the trim piece right in front of this. It's held on by a plastic screw. There's going to be two connectors near the rubber trim piece that goes to the passenger side door. We're going to be looking at the larger connector, and the wires that we want are the blue and red and blue and black, the black being ground and the red being power. Now that we found the wires we need to tap into, we're going to go ahead and fish the wires through under the passenger seat. There are going to be rubber grommets underneath the car where you can essentially fish it through there. I found that it's easier to have the passenger seat removed. All we're going to do is take off these 14mm bolts on the front and rear of the seat, and that way we can lift it out of the way. There's going to be a little access hole there, and once you remove that, there's just a 10mm covering the rubber seal. Once you get to that rubber seal, you can go ahead and fish the wires through from the underside of the car. Here's a better look at that rubber grommet under the passenger seat. We're gonna cut off this electrical tape and fish the wires through there, and then use electrical tape to seal it back up. Once we have this fished through, we're going to go ahead and have this follow the trim piece that we've removed and bring that all the way forward to those two connectors that we mentioned earlier. You are then going to use the red wiring taps that they've provided and tap into the two wires mentioned earlier in order to bring power to the power locking mechanisms to the tailgate. But before we get to that, we're going to go ahead and put this 10mm back on, as well as the 4 14mm bolts holding the seat in place. With the red taps that were provided installed, we can go ahead and plug these two connectors back in, as well as put together the interior pieces back. With the interior all back together, we can now fish the wiring from the front all the way to the rear. Per our previous video, we tied up the wiring from the tailgate up under the bumper. We can go ahead and remove that and connect the two together to give it power it needs to lock up. A few pointers here when you're pulling the wiring from the front to the rear. I'd suggest following existing wiring and tying it to that, and or making sure that you don't tie it to anything that moves like suspension bits, and make sure it doesn't rub on any other parts under the frame. With the wiring done, let's go ahead and test the unlock and lock function of the tailgate. Alright, it looks like all the locks work on the tailgate. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe.